Direct
skip
buyer
past it.
leads, we're going to teach people how to expand their reach. We're going to teach people how to use MyState MLS as a sales tool to get more listings, how to use communities to get leads and listings, how to utilize our open listings product, how to do sales, marketing, and training, and using our marketing assets. And also, what is SEO? Why do you need it? And how can MyState benefit your SEO? And how to own and control your data. So there's a whole bunch of things on this list. It's a lot to get to. So let's get right to it. Your direct buyer leads are how you're going to grow your pipe. Everyone is like, oh, my sphere of influence, my sphere of influence. How am I going to do my marketing? Who am I going to call? Who am I going to door knock? Forget all that. The way to make contacts in this business outside of your sphere of influence, so in other words, not bothering all your friends about, hey, use me as a real estate agent. Now you want to get actual buyers who are out there, people you don't know yet. And the way to do that is to use listings to get buyer leads. Growing your pipeline is how you're going to do it. You have to start with listings. That's the hardest part, but we've got you covered. So we're going to help you do that. But if you have a listing, you definitely want to grow your pipeline by getting direct buyer leads. And you're going to want to do that through MyState MLS. We have an algorithm that lets you do it, and this is what we're going to teach you today.
Yeah, and we've actually done independent studies that have proven that we get more direct buyer leads than most local MLSs. So this is how we recommend you utilize MyState MLS to get more direct buyer leads.
Right.
First,
so should we tell people why they don't get direct buyer leads from their local MLS? Should we give them a hint?
Please.
Oh, we'll give you a couple hints on why you don't get direct buyer leads from your local MLS. Because the minute you put it into your local MLS, all of your competitors put it on their website and in their drip email and in their pipeline, and they take all your buyer leads. We'll put your listing out there to the public before your competitor gets it. So you're going to be getting direct calls from buyers who are interested in that listing, or open listings if you use those. You're going to get direct leads from them instead of giving them away to your competitors.
And to your point, Don, because a lot of people hear that and they're like, oh, well, I want other agents to be able to see the listing. We still push out to the same places. You're still going to have your listing on RPR. The most important aspects of where real estate agents can find your property, they will be there. It's just now they're not going to be directly on the site if you don't want them to be.
Correct. So it's not that other agents won't see your listing. It's that other agents won't be able to direct email your listing to people who aren't even their clients, stealing your buyer leads out from under you, which is really what happens when you stick your listing in the local MLS. It goes out to the IDX. Maybe many of you use that system to get direct buyer leads yourself, but it's annoying when it's your listing. So what you really want to have happen is you really want to get those direct buyer leads back to you.
What this slide is explaining, and I'd like your layman's take on it, Don, is how, if someone wants to still be a part of their local MLS and use MyState as an extra marketing tool to really grow their business, how should they utilize the system before putting it in their local MLS?
So if you get a listing, the first thing you want to do is the minute you get that listing, you want to put it in MyState MLS. And you have, in some of your MLSs, you have 24 hours if they have clear cooperation to put that listing in. So you should definitely do that. Inside MyState MLS, we have some check boxes to further your buyer leads. So we have a checkbox which can send the listing to your own website before it goes anywhere else. So when it's on your website first, you get the Google SEO, that big word that nobody can figure out how to do. That's why Bruce is here to explain SEO to us. But the big thing about Google is the reason that your website doesn't get any juice and it doesn't get any traffic is because you don't use SEO effectively. The most effective way to use SEO is with unique data. So whoever has the data first, that's unique data. Google comes through, they see it on your site, they love it, then they give you credit for it. Then they go through and they see it on other sites, other big third-party sites. We all know who they are. When Google goes through, they actually see it as duplicate content for them. Right now, the way you do it, you put it in your local MLS. Your local MLS, within 8 minutes, sends it to those other big third-party sites. And those sites get credit for having it first. And you get dinged for duplicate credit, even though it was your data, even though it was your listing. You've got to stop doing it that way. So put it in MyState MLS, check the box to send it to your own website first. And we have it there first. And then, of course, we will send it to the other sites for you as well, which it will go out to buyers that way. However, it's not going to go out to every single competitor's IDX and every other competitor's website in your local market, because not that many people in your local market are using the system in that way. So that is something to keep in mind. Remember, you want to be in MyState MLS first. Wait as much as you can, your full 24 hours, to put the listing into your local MLS and turn off syndication from your local MLS. That's the important part. That's going to keep generating the buyer leads to you. However, your listing's still going to be in the local MLS. The other agents, they're all still going to find it. You want to expand your reach? MyState MLS is totally the way to expand your reach. What do we mean by that? How about list wherever you're licensed? Most states, they've got like 20 plus MLSs, and they're all hyper local, which doesn't allow you to be able to list wherever you're licensed. Let's just say 20 minutes away from where you live, and you know it well, is another MLS, but you don't want to join that other MLS. Or your parents live an hour away and you want to sell their house, or you want to sell them a house. In order to do that, instead of joining another MLS, just join MyState MLS. So you keep your local MLS if you really want to. You can replace it with MyState MLS. In some areas, MyState MLS is the MLS of choice for them, but in areas where it isn't the main MLS, it will allow you to list wherever you're licensed. And if you're licensed in multiple states, you also join MyState MLS and put your multiple licenses in. So you can list literally, we have some members that are licensed in 30 plus states. So you can list wherever you are licensed.
One thing I've heard a lot from our members and people who rave about us the most are those people who are licensed in 2 states because they live along the border of one of those states. In order to join all the state boards and all the local boards that they would need, the costs can just add up and become egregious. Where instead you could stick with your main local if you want, and then rather than joining 10 other MLSs in order to operate in your territory, you just hop onto MyState MLS, and now you can list anywhere you're licensed. You can see property data from anywhere you're licensed, and we also offer Pro Search, so you can even see property data nationwide.
Right. We have Pro Search, which you can see all the history of all the listings, residential, land, and multifamily are in Pro Search. And if you have your local MLS and you're still a realtor, you can have access to RPR. All of your MyState listings go onto RPR, and all realtors across the country will see your listing in RPR regardless of MLS membership, because we've opened up that floodgate of our listings being seen by all realtors in RPR. And RPR covers commercial as well. So you've got residential and commercial covered with all of that. Right. This is how I use MyState MLS on listing appointments. You're going to be up against your competitors. If they have MyState MLS, you are going to be able to compete with them. If they do not have MyState MLS, you've definitely got the edge. You have the statewide listing service and the nationwide listing service behind you to help you close those deals. Also, with our Pro Search tool, you're going to be able to really do CMAs very quickly. So you're not going to miss out on anything.
Yeah, imagine if you're the consumer and you're trying to find the best agent to sell your home. Do you want someone who comes in the door and says, hey, I'm going to put it on the local board, do what everybody else is going to do for you. I'm going to put it on the local MLS and it'll be seen by all the local agents and it'll be fun. Or do you want the agent that's going to come in and say, hey, I'm going to do all of that and I'm going to propel your listing, put it on a nationwide network. If anybody's representing someone who wants to move, they're going to have instant access and visibility to your property. MyState MLS, we have a huge network of agents. We currently have well over 50,000 members that are actively using the platform across the United States, and they're going to all see your property when it's relevant to their searches. So you
Well,
include
also, Nick, I just want to let people know, if you have a listing right now and that listing is getting stale, because the market's getting a little slow and inventory is definitely staying on the market longer. Your sellers were used to hearing, oh, you're going to sell this in one day and get multiple offers, and now you've been on for 30 days and you've got nothing going on, and your seller is getting antsy, they're freaking out, and they want to pull the listing from you. You can go in with MyState and your statewide and say, listen, we're going to spend some more money on marketing. We're going to put you in this nationwide MLS. And that can help you keep a listing that you might have otherwise lost. So there's a lot of ways that you can use MyState, not only to get listings, but to keep listings that you have that might be getting stale. And with the extra exposure that MyState gives you, because we have international syndication and all kinds of other ways that we market your listing for you, it's a really good way to help get your listing sold.
So now let's talk about some of the tangible features that you guys as members can actually utilize to get more listings and get more physical leads. We recently launched in 2023 a new communities feature.
The communities feature is great. I can't believe the SEO we're getting on that. Bruce, good job to you. I'm going to let you talk a little bit about SEO. I'll give a little introduction on the community feature. What the community feature is, it's basically a page about your local community, your local HOA, or your condo building or your co-op building, wherever it is that you want to sell. And that page is pretty much a blank slate, but it's getting an absolute ton of SEO. So what we're asking our members to do is figure out where you want to sell houses. You want to sell houses in the ABC community that you live in, and you know the most about that community. We are asking our members to find that community page by searching for it, and then filling out the page, filling out the description, putting in pictures, putting in information about local restaurants and schools and shops and places. Put as much on that page as you can. And the SEO that we have with that page is insane. Now, owning that community page is going to mean a lot to you, because when you own a community page, you're going to get all the leads from that community. All the questions that are being asked about that community, those questions go straight to you. That is the way to build your pipeline, because many of those people, they want to know because they want to buy a house in that community. They want to know what it's like to live there, and they're going to be looking for you to do it. We have videos that you can upload, so we do recommend that you do videos and upload them about these communities. But Bruce, can you tell us a little bit about how the SEO works on these communities and why we're getting so many contacts from them?
So we've built citations or mentions from other websites back to these communities to try and give them a little more authority and a little more relevance to Google. And basically, it's not always about what you know, it's about who you know in this case to start. And the agents are going to help us add the what you know portion of that as far as the content on those communities. But right now what we're doing is we're building the who you know. So we're building and establishing relevant and authoritative connection to those pages to make them that much easier to show up.
So the MyState MLS community feature is really valuable because you get to have your image at the very top of a landing page that is going to have very high domain authority. So it's going to show up on Google anytime someone is searching for that community. So we have a lot of content to get through, so I'm going to go ahead and breeze through to the next slide, but we do have a video that is available just on how to claim your community. If you start the process and get a little confused, get a little lost, just reach out to us and we'll share with you all of that information, or you can find it on the menu of your MyState MLS dashboard. It is open listing.
Can I tell the open listing story, Nick?
I would love for you to tell the open listing.
Have you ever heard the open listing story?
We have not.
All right. In upstate New York, in a little town just south of Albany, the Capitol, there was a guy who owned a local retail store. I won't say what kind of retail store, so you can't figure out who he is. But he was a real estate agent, but he didn't really do anything with his license. And he went and sold his retail store, and he wanted to take all that money and invest it into a real estate brokerage. And he didn't have any listings. So how was he going to get started? He started with a process called open listings. He knew a lot of people because he owned that retail store in the community. He went around to them, hey, can I sell your house? No, I don't really want to sell my house, or I want to sell it for sale by owner, or what. But let me put a sign on your front lawn. Let me list it, and you don't have to pay me unless I sell it and I get you the price you want. Well, do you think you could really get me that price? I do think I can get you that price. Okay, great. So we started putting signs all over town. It didn't even take 2-3 months. He found a builder that let him put like 5 signs on one piece of property on a busy road. And all of a sudden, this guy became the #1 agent in the area because he had signs essentially everywhere. And he looked like the biggest listing agent in the world. Was he the biggest listing agent? Not yet, but he is today. And he is today because he started with open listings. Open listings are something they use in New York City a lot with rentals, and people use them with for sale by owner. But I got an agent, I did a test on this to see how well this would work. I got an agent to go to new communities where they're building high-rise buildings. And they let you list those as open listings in a lot of markets. So she got permission to list those as open listings. She put them in MyState MLS. They flow through to her website. And when you go on her website and you look at her featured listings, my listings, now she went from somebody who had 0 listings to 300 listings in like a month. She went to that. So obviously, many of those listings were all in the same community. So there were some, duplicate community listings, but that's fine because when you do that and you go from somebody, you're up against somebody who has 1 listing, 2 listings, 5 listings, even 10 listings. And then someone comes on your page, wow, this person has, look at all the listings they have. And look at the price of them. This is the person to hire. This is the person we have to have. And you just become the listing agent as an open listing agent. Now you become an exclusive listing agent. And this is how you become the #1 agent, the person who everyone in your market knows. You've got to start somewhere. The only place to start is to have listings. That's how you get to be the biggest agent in your area. And it's very hard to get them exclusive if you're just starting out. So open listings are the way to do that.
Yeah, and to your point, Don, one thing that's really great about MyState MLS is when you actually get open listings or non-exclusives, we do have a handful of companies that we've worked direct relationships with to accept those non-exclusives and post them. So there is also a chance that you get non-exclusives, and it's not only building up your reputation in your local market and getting your face out and helping you close exclusives, but you can actually sell non-exclusives using MyState.
It's leads.
So
it is absolute leads. The same lady I just talked about, within the first 3 months of getting those listings, those open listings, she sold a $3 million open listing because she advertised it, and she got, I think her commission on that was $95,000. So she literally had maybe less than a $300 investment and made a $95,000 return. So we were going to, how many X times your business? What kind of ROI is that? It was like 9,000% or something ridiculous.
That's awesome. Bruce, what were you going to say?
So to clarify that for the new agent, an open listing is what?
I can't hear you. What
So
did you just say?
he's asking you the difference, like he's asking you just a general definition of open listing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what is an open listing and why does it matter for the new agent?
Yeah, an open listing is a listing that isn't an exclusive right to sell. It is really a listing that anyone can sell. And only the person who brings the buyer is going to get paid. So it's really easy to get open listings. You can go out to all the for sale by owners out there and just offer to advertise it for them for free, and that they only have to pay you if you bring a buyer. And most of them are willing to do that. So that's one place you can find open listings. Another place to find open listings are to find rental listings. Go to rental communities and ask them if you can advertise their vacant rentals. And you start to advertise those vacant rentals and you start to collect rental leads. Now, don't say, I don't want to do rentals. It is absolutely crazy for people to say, I don't want to do rentals, because who rents property? People who rent property are people who are maybe selling a house because they're getting divorced. And they don't have somebody to sell their house because they got to find a place to go first. So you list a rental property, you get a call, hey, I want to rent this property. I'm getting a divorce and I need a place to live. Oh, who's selling your home? I have to get my house sold. Who's selling it? Can I come over and do a listing appointment? Boom, you just turned a rental into a listing, and an exclusive listing at that. So that is how you take an open rental and turn it into an exclusive rental or exclusive sale, by getting phone calls from people who have a house to sell. There's also people who need to rent because they can't find something to buy. There's a lot of people who are like, oh my God, I didn't find someplace to buy and I have to move here for my job. And that person is going to rent from you, but next year they're going to buy a home from you and you're going to put them in your pipeline.
So, Dawn, do we need to utilize MyState MLS to use open listings, or can you just do that on any MLS?
No, most MLSs, about 98% of the MLSs in the country, they don't allow you to list open listings. And that's because they're not co-broked. So you don't offer cooperation and compensation on open listings. You only get paid if you bring a buyer. Yeah, you can throw an open listing on Facebook Marketplace, but you shouldn't, because there's a lot of scams on Facebook Marketplace, and you are going to diminish your credibility if you do something like that. Really what you want to do, and why you want to put them on MyState MLS, is because when you put them in MyState MLS, they will feed through to your website. Now, you can then share that listing on Facebook Marketplace, but when people click through, they're going to come to a legitimate site. They're going to come to MyState MLS, which is a nationwide multiple listing service, which is going to take away the connotation of the marketplace scam listing that a lot of people place on marketplace lists. How do I know if this is a real listing? Oh, it's on the nationwide MLS. It must be a real listing. Then we're also going to send the listing through to your website. It's going to populate up your website. It's going to make your website and you look like a very credible, high volume listing agent. And that is the way to get the listings to your website from a MyState MLS feed. It will get them to your website. It will keep your listings updated. It will take care of all the status changes, all the photo changes, all the price changes. So you definitely want to start your listing into a multiple listing service like MyState MLS that feeds your website so that all the information on your website stays updated.
So for the new agents, this is going to allow you to break into an industry that's historically very challenging to break into, and you can't really do that with any local MLS out there. So utilizing MyState with open listings will really give you kind of a competitive edge that you're not going to get anywhere else.
You can't get it anywhere else, really, no. I mean, yeah, like I said, you can throw up things on Facebook or Twitter, or you can try to manually put them up on your own website, but then you'll have to keep them updated. And it's much harder to do that. It's much easier to do it inside our software, which is designed specifically for listings management, listings feed management to your website, and also for credibility and SEO purposes.
So now here's the question. We understand why we should use open listings and how to and why we should put them in MyState MLS. But how do you go about actually getting the non-exclusive listings? What are the best ways and recommendations for new agents?
Best ways are and that we've found to get multiple listings at one time is go to a new construction development, usually a high-rise building like a condo that's being built, and go to their construction office, their marketing team, and say, hey, I'm a realtor. Would you mind if I advertised your new units? And if I do advertise them and bring you a buyer, will you pay me? Are you realtor friendly? And when you find them that they say yes, they also give you all the pictures and all the marketing material. So you look extremely professional. You look like you paid millions of dollars for marketing, but you're using their marketing pieces that they have available to you. The other place you want to get open listings is at rental complexes. There's a lot of big rental complexes out there that will pay realtors. Same thing. Go into the rental office, ask them if they're realtor friendly, if they pay you if you bring a tenant. If they do, ask them if they're okay with you putting their vacant units on your website. And as long as they're okay with that, get their permission. They'll also give you all the information you need to list those units, or they'll let you take pictures and give you, give you the prices and the floor plans and all that kind of thing. So that's a really great place to get listings. Go to every FSBO in town and go to them and say, hey, I'll advertise your listing at no cost to you. I'm not going to charge you a listing fee. I'm going to do it as an open listing. If I bring you a buyer, will you pay me a commission? As long as they say yes, get them to sign the open listing agreement that is in MyState MLS. And after a little while and you start bringing them people, let's say if you don't sell it right away, now you've got a relationship with them. You've done things for them. It's a lot easier to go back to them and say, listen, I could do a lot more for you if you let me list this as at least an exclusive agency. Then the listing can go on the big third-party sites like Zillow and Realtor.com. That's how you turn an open listing into an exclusive agency or an exclusive right to sell. Always try to get that exclusive right to sell, but there are for sale by owner people out there who are really tough, and they are not going to sign an exclusive right to sell. You can always try to get that, and I always think you should, but you can always step down to exclusive agency from open. So you started open, you get them into an exclusive agency, and now your listing and your name and your photo are out there all on Zillow and Realtor.com and on Homes and all those sites. Another place to find opens is expired listings. Try to find people who were trying to sell. You know what? Don't try to look at expired listings that just expired. Most of those are either in contract or they're going to re-up with another agent or their agent that they have. Go back a year or two on expired listings. Try to find people who wanted to sell but then didn't for whatever reason, like they weren't ready or they were waiting to build a house and it wasn't time yet. Go back to older expired listings because those are people who had wanted to sell but haven't sold yet. I always recommend going 1 to 5 years back on expired listings. Make sure they're not relisted now and make sure they haven't sold and it's the same owner that owns the home now that was trying to sell a few years ago. And you'll also find out that a lot of those might be rented now and they do want to get rid of them. And the other thing is when the listing is a really hard to get exclusive right listing, just like the FSBO, go for the exclusive agency. If you can't get the exclusive agency, go, all right, bring it down to the open level. Open's very easy to get when you do that.
100%. So if you think about it, it makes perfect sense why opens are easier. Instead of your pitching, hey, pay me commission when we sell your property, your pitch is much more mild. It's hey, if I can find you a buyer, then will you consider going into contract and paying some commissions, right? It helps.
I'll advertise it for you for free.
Exactly.
And I'm going to bring you a buyer. I will represent the buyer unless you want me to sign an exclusive agency. Then I can represent you. That's another way to turn an open into an exclusive. Is you start advertising it for them, and then they start asking you for advice. You cannot give them advice unless you have an exclusive agency or exclusive right to sell. So that is another way to take an open and turn it into an exclusive where you're going to be guaranteed to get paid if it sells.
always aim for the exclusive, but open listings are a great way to get started in your business, a great way to build that initial trust. And in places like new construction developments, it's really the only thing that they do. If a developer builds 100 units they want to sell, they don't just usually give that to a single agent. Usually they pick 5, 10, and they give partially exclusive or open listing rights to sell those properties. So if there's new construction in your area and you're an agent getting started, even if you're an agent with a lot of experience, definitely reach out to them and see what kind of opportunity they have for agents and brokers in your area. It's great.
Yeah, and reach out to every local builder, even a small builder. If they don't have their own broker's license, they'll be your best friend. And they'll love it if you give them open or even exclusive agencies. This video where we're giving you all this advice here, this is just the tip of the iceberg when you talk about what MyState MLS has for all of our marketing tools. I mean, we have kudos to you guys, fantastic marketing department that built huge amount of marketing tools for our agents to use at no extra cost to them. Social media posts, videos, video templates, how to make money, using videos. I mean, everything that we have, you guys have done a great job building up all of these marketing tools.
Yeah, so when you're an actual member yourself, you are going to have access to over 20 hours of training by professional real estate coach, nationally renowned real estate coaches and mentors across the country. And you'll be able to learn the most common and proper sales techniques within real estate, the things that actually work. You're going to learn about all the different marketing techniques, whether it be digital marketing, whether it be mailers, whether it be building a community. But there is a ton of new content that can help you train and grow your business beyond just understanding our features and how to best utilize them. On top of that, like Dawn mentioned, we have marketing assets available that are easily customizable that you can go in as a real estate agent and use, and it just saves you a ton of time, and it's all very well done and professionally made. So for example, social media posts. Maybe you're an agent who's been wanting to get into social media but doesn't have the time to commit or dedicate to making a post every single day. For every single month of the year, we have over 30 different posts. You can just click your picture, throw it in there, add your contact information, and it's all relevant and topical to that month, to that time of year. And they're just really nice aesthetic posts. And it's a highly valuable tool. We could argue that this in itself is worth a couple $100. It's worth a whole yearly membership, the trainings and marketing resources that we provide to our agents, brokers, and members.
I want to know how many of our members actually know what SEO is. Maybe they know it stands for search engine optimization, but do they really understand what that is?
To break it down into 3 basic parts, it's about who you are, what you do, and who's going to validate you. So if you can present yourself appropriately, like suit and tie when you walk into a job interview, and explain what it is that you're going to do. In this case, it would be as a real estate agent or a community ambassador as far as our communities go. And then who's going to validate you? MyState's actually taken care of most of that for you. We've built the authority and established connections and links that will basically tell Google that this is relevant and important information, and it should show to the top of the search results for certain keywords or key phrases that are relevant to the searches you want people to find you for.
But ultimately, what you're talking about is showing up at the top of Google or Bing or any of the search engines. And you ever notice how Redfin is like always at the top of a lot of real estate searches? Why is that? Because they spend millions of dollars on SEO. They spend tons of money on what they call backlinks. Backlinks are still super, super important when it comes to your site. Well, years ago, people started blogging. A lot of realtors were blogging on all these different blogger sites. And they were doing it for SEO. Nobody really, half the community is like, why do you blogging? And the ones who were blogging really understood keywords and search engine optimization and all of that. And you find that those guys who were always blogging, you always see them on publications and different places, and those same people pop up to the top. That's not by accident. They're putting in a lot of energy and effort into getting themselves, their name up to the top, and getting their website up to the top.
Yeah, so I'd love to hear a little bit more, Dawn, about how putting your listings in MyState first before local MLS benefits a website's SEO.
Yeah, so really important thing in SEO is unique content. And your listing doesn't get more unique than the listing that you just took and the photos you just paid for and the video you just made. That is really unique content. How are you going to get that on your website first? You're going to put it in MyState MLS first. You're going to check the box that says send it to my website. We're going to send it to your website before we send it to other places. And it's very, very important to send it to your website first. And then put it in your, if you're still a member of your local MLS, wait 24 hours, put it in there, and don't syndicate it through your local MLS. Just put it in there so the other agents can see it and make appointments on it if they want to. But it is really, really important that you get that unique content on your website before the big third-party sites. Because what's happening right now is you're going to go, you're doing the easy thing, right? Stop doing the easy thing and do the smart thing. The easy thing, you go and you do what you always did and you just go put it in your local MLS, and who gets it within 1 minute is Zillow. And Zillow now has the unique content that you should have had for your website. Thanks for coming to our presentation. I want to just do a final thought, and this time I'm just going to turn the tables a little bit. Nick, you are an expert at marketing. I mean, I have not seen anybody who knows digital marketing as well as you do. I really want you to tell our members how absolutely important it is for their business, not their job, but their business, to really invest in digital marketing, and how MyState MLS gets to utilize essentially our marketing department, who we pay for, when they become a member of MyState.
So digital marketing is extremely important for every business, and especially in the modern age. And the real estate industry has been a little bit slow to pick up on the waves, which is good and bad, but it's good for you because you're watching this video and you have the opportunity to be one of the earlier movers in your market to utilize digital marketing tools and techniques like MyState MLS to grow and expand your business.
Exactly. And I want a final word from you, Bruce, on SEO and how expensive SEO is, and how we can help them make it a little less expensive.
You're going to spend a few $100s a year to utilize everything that we've spent 15 years building.
Yeah, right. Because you get pages on MyState MLS, you get profile pages on MyState MLS that Google finds.
All right, Dawn, now I'm curious about your final thoughts. Imagine MyState MLS had nothing to do with you. What would be your favorite benefits, your biggest takeaways from the platform and from what we talked about today?
My favorite things that MyState MLS offers are the expansion of your territory, which lets you list anywhere you're licensed, which helps you make way more money. The fact that we allow every property type, and we allow open listings. So we basically allow all listing types as well. And then the fact that we have put so many, me personally, I'm up to 15 years that I've had into the MLS now. And just to see how powerful it is on Google at this point, it just makes me happy. Feels like I put all this effort and energy into it. I've hired what I think are the right people, so I have the right team. And so I'm extremely happy and grateful that you guys are with me on this, and that my entire team is absolutely fantastic. So I just want to say that I'm incredibly grateful for my staff and my members, and that we've come this far.